The Ark of the Covenant shall remain in the country of Ethiopia for all time. These words, taken from the Ethiopian epic known as the Kebra Nagast, have fueled one of the greatest mysteries in history. Could the Ark of the Covenant, the sacred relic that once held the 10 Commandments, truly reside in Ethiopia? Welcome to the Legends of Antiquity. I'm your host, Ronil Cole, and today we're exploring the Kebra Nagast, the Glory of Kings, the 14th century text that intertwines history, legend, and faith to tell the story of Ethiopia's divine destiny. In this episode, we'll unravel the Kebra Nagasta's central tale, the Queen of Sheba's journey to meet King Solomon, the birth of their son Menelik I, and the Ark's legendary journey from Jerusalem to Axum. We'll also dive into the text's role in shaping Ethiopian identity, its connection to the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, and the ongoing debate about whether the Ark truly rests in the Church of St. Mary of Zion. Let's begin. King Solomon and Queen Sheba, a meeting of empires. To truly understand the story of the Kebra Nagast, we must first dive into the lives of its two central figures, King Solomon, one of the greatest kings of Israel, and Queen Sheba, a mysterious and powerful ruler from the south. Their meeting was more than just a moment in history. It was a fusion of two great civilizations. Who was King Solomon? King Solomon, the son of David and Bathsheba, was the third king of Israel, reigning around the 10th century BCE. His name, Solomon, is derived from the Hebrew word shalom, meaning peace, reflecting the prosperity and stability of his reign. Solomon is remembered for 3 defining traits. 1. His wisdom. Solomon is often called the wisest king in history. According to the Bible, he asked God not for riches or power, but for the wisdom to govern his people justly. His legendary wisdom is demonstrated in stories like the Judgment of Solomon, where he resolved a dispute between 2 women claiming to be the mother of the same child. And all Israel heard of the judgment which the king had rendered, and they feared the king, for they saw that the wisdom of God was in him to administer justice. 1 Kings chapter 3, verses 28. 2. His wealth and power. Solomon presided over Israel during its golden age, commanding vast wealth from trade and tribute. His empire stretched from the Euphrates River in the north to Egypt in the south, including regions of modern-day Israel, Palestine, Jordan, and parts of Syria. Solomon's strategic alliances, particularly through marriage, solidified his power. The Bible records that he had 700 wives and 300 concubines, many of whom were princesses from allied nations. 3. The First Temple. Solomon's crowning achievement was the construction of the first temple in Jerusalem, a magnificent structure that became the spiritual center of the Jewish people. The temple housed the Ark of the Covenant, which held the stone tablets inscribed with the 10 Commandments. I have surely built you an exalted house, and a place for you to dwell in forever. 1 Kings 8:13. Despite his wisdom and achievements, Solomon's later years were marked by excess and idolatry, which, according to the Bible, led to the eventual division of the kingdom after his death. Who was Queen Sheba? On the other side of this story is the enigmatic Queen of Sheba, a ruler whose origins and identity remain a subject of fascination and debate. In Ethiopian tradition, she is known as Makita, a queen of unmatched beauty, intelligence, and power. She ruled over the kingdom of Sheba, believed to encompass parts of modern-day Ethiopia, Eritrea, and Yemen, controlling vital trade routes along the Red Sea. Sheba was known for its wealth, particularly in gold, frankincense, myrrh, and spices. Its position as a hub of trade between Africa, Arabia, and the ancient Near East made it one of the most prosperous kingdoms of the time. Her journey to Jerusalem. The Queen of Sheba's journey to Jerusalem is one of the most celebrated stories in both biblical and Ethiopian tradition. According to the Bible, she heard of Solomon's great wisdom and traveled with a caravan of camels, bringing gold, precious stones, and spices as gifts to test him with difficult questions. The Bible says, "And when the Queen of Sheba had seen all the wisdom of Solomon, the house that he had built, the food on his table, the seating of his servants, the service of his waiters and their apparel, his cupbearers, and his entryway by which he went up to the house of the Lord, there was no more spirit in her." 1 Kings chapter 1, verses 4 through 5. But this was no ordinary meeting. The text tells us that Solomon, deeply impressed by Queen's intellect and beauty, sought to win her affection. Over the course of her visit, their relationship grew, culminating in a union that would have divine consequences. When Queen Makeda returned to Sheba, she carried more than the wisdom of Solomon. She was pregnant with his child. The child, born in Ethiopia, was named Menelik, meaning son of the wise man. Menelik, I would grow up to become the first emperor of Ethiopia, establishing a dynasty that claimed direct descent from Solomon. She brought forth a man-child, and she called his name Bena Lechem, Menelik, which means son of the wise man, the Ark of the Covenant, and Ethiopia. Menelik's story doesn't end in Ethiopia. According to the Kebra Nagast, when he reached adulthood, he traveled to Jerusalem to meet his father, King Solomon. Their reunion was joyous, with Solomon embracing his son and offering him the throne of Israel. But Menelik declined, choosing instead to return Ethiopia, citing his loyalty to his mother and his homeland. Solomon, reluctant to see him leave, sent a group of firstborn sons of Israelite nobles to accompany him back to Ethiopia. What Solomon didn't know was that these companions had a plan of their own. Without Solomon's knowledge, they devised a plan to take the Ark of the Covenant, fearing they would lose their spiritual connection to God in a foreign land, and believed the Ark should accompany them. According to the Kebra Nagast, the Ark itself allowed this to happen. It was seen as a sign of God's will that the Ark be taken to Ethiopia to establish a new covenant there. The sons replaced the Ark in the temple with a replica to avoid immediate detection. When Menelik and his companions began their journey back to Ethiopia, it's unclear in the Kebra Nagast whether Menelik knew of the plan beforehand, but once the Ark was in his possession, he accepted it as a divine blessing. When Solomon realized the Ark was missing, he was initially angered. However, the text suggests that he ultimately accepted this as part of God's plan and blessed Menelik's journey. The Kebra Nagast tells us that the Ark chose to remain in Ethiopia, a sign of God's favor upon the nation. The text declares, "The Ark of the Covenant of God shall remain in the country of Ethiopia for all time." According to tradition, the Ark was brought to the ancient city of Axum, where it resides to this day in the Church of St. Mary of Zion. It is said to be guarded by a single monk, chosen for life, who dedicates himself to its protection. No one else is allowed to see the Ark, adding to its aura of mystery and divine power. Could the Ark of the Covenant truly rest in Ethiopia? Or is this legend a powerful symbol of Ethiopia's spiritual identity? The role of the Kebra Nagast in Ethiopian identity. The Kebra Nagast isn't just a story. It's a cornerstone of Ethiopian identity. Written in the 14th century, it serves as both a historical chronicle and a spiritual manifesto. The text establishes Ethiopia's rulers as direct descendants of Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, giving their dynasty divine legitimacy. For centuries, Ethiopian emperors, including the famous Haile Selassie, traced their lineage back to Menelik I. The Kebra Nagast also reflects Ethiopia's deep connection to Christianity. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church, one of the oldest Christian traditions in the world, sees the Ark as a symbol of God's covenant with Ethiopia. This blending of religious, royal, and national identity has made the Kebra Nagast a source of pride for Ethiopians. It positions their nation not as a peripheral player, but as a central figure in biblical history. Myth or history? The Kebra Nagast leaves us with a tantalizing question. Is this story history, myth, or a bit of both? Scholars have debated the Ark's location for centuries. While many dismiss the idea that it could have left Jerusalem, others point to Ethiopia's long-standing claim and the detailed traditions surrounding the Church of St. Mary of Zion. Whether the Ark is truly in Axum or not, the Kebra Nagast offers something deeper. It's a story about faith, destiny, and the belief in divine favor. For Ethiopia, it's a testament to their unique role in world history. A nation chosen by God. Conclusion. The Kebra Nagast is more than a text. It's a bridge between history and legend, a story that connects Ethiopia to the divine. Whether or not the Ark of the Covenant truly rests in Axum, its power lies in the belief it inspires and the identity it shapes. So, what do you think? Could the Ark be in Ethiopia? Or is its true power found in the story itself? Thank you for joining me on this journey into the Kebra Nagast. Be sure to subscribe to The Legends of Antiquity for more stories that illuminate the mysteries of the past. Until next time, stay curious and keep the light alive.